Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to set up an AWS instance running an Ubuntu operating system. This is great for running workloads like AI or other Linux-dependent programs, as well as not having to pay for operating system costs for your instances. The setup takes only a few minutes, but you'll have a workstation running Ubuntu in the cloud, as well as Nvidia drivers all set up for you. The three key requirements that we'll cover here today: CloudFormation templates, Amazon machine learning images, and the remote desktoping tool called Amazon DCV. All right, let's get started. So what you need to do is you need to head over to Google and search for AWS Deep Learning AMI, or the link in the description of the video will have this. This is the template that I mentioned. We're going to be downloading this, the Deep Learning Ubuntu desktop file. So I'll click download. What this has is basically a way that through code we can create infrastructure, and you'll see we specify the types of instances we want, but the key thing is AMIs. So these are pre-built machine images that we've provided that have the different operating systems and Nvidia setups. So what we'll do is we'll head over to CloudFormation. So in your console you can go CloudFormation. If you click the little star, it'll add it to the toolbar at the top here. I'm already here. And once we see our stacks, we're going to say create stack with the resource. We're going to choose upload from template file, and I'll browse and I'll click the one we just downloaded and let it verify it, and I'll say next. So now we need to give a stack name, so I can call it Ubuntu WS for Workstation. You can name this whatever you want to. The operating system, I'm going to choose the latest one, 24, and this one is now your IP address. So we need to be able to log into the instance, so you need to provide an IP address for the security group, so it knows who's talking to the machine. So just head over to Google and type in what's my IP, and I'll click that, and you see this is my IP address. I'll come over here and I'll paste it in, and then my range will be /32 for my CIDR. Instance sizes, so on AWS we have instances that have GPUs. These are the older generation, the G5s and the G6s are the latest. I'm going to choose a small one, G6 extra large. The higher you go, the more powerful the machine is, and most of these later ones have multi-GPUs in there. What I'll also do is, I don't have a security group set up, so I'm going to have this create it for me, but if you do have a security group you want to reuse, you can specify it there. VPC, I'm going to use the default one in the region. So I'm in North Virginia here. If you wanted to deploy this in different regions, make sure before you start the process, you just choose the region that you're in. So I'll choose, let's go VPC first. I'll choose this VPC, and I'm going to choose a public subnet that I know I can connect to. So make sure you choose public, right? If you don't choose public, it's not going to work. You'll have to access it via alternate routes. So this is a public subnet, which means that the machine has access to the internet. If you want to specify an EFS drive, you can do it now, as well as if you wanted to mount a S3 bucket, you can do that. Just going to go with standard. I'm not going to add anything extra to this. Over here, a key name, you need a key that you can SSH into the instance. And if you don't have one, you can easily set it up. I'll just show you how to do that. Just duplicate tab. You go to EC2 at the top, so you can search EC2. On the left over here, you say key pairs, and I'll say create a key pair, and I'll choose PIM and give it a name, and then you'll be able to select it from the drop down over here. If it's not showing up, you'll just have to refresh the page and start all over again. There isn't a little refresh button. And then, like I said, you can set up an S3 bucket so you can read and write, and that's pretty much it. So I'll say next. I'll scroll down. I don't have any roles created for this, so this will create it for me, but if you've already got roles that have CloudFormation inside it, you can always use those. I'm just keeping it very, very default. I'll say acknowledge that I know that there's going to be costs associated to my deployment. I'll say next. Just verify everything's over here. Looks good to me, and I'll click submit. Okay, this process will take approximately 5 minutes, so it is pretty quick. And what we'll do is when it's up and running, I'll check back with you. All right, so that took only a few minutes, and you can see here it's create complete. So what we'll do is we'll head over to our EC2s, and you'll see here I have the deep learning running, and just make sure the status checks are completed, right, and not the just initializing. If we just head back to the template, I'll just show you what you need to do next. So it's about getting started. We've done all that. We need to SSH into the machine and set a password. So I'm just going to copy this. Copy, you can probably just hit that. The easiest way to get into the EC2, make sure you're in the right region that you deployed in. That's always this little gotcha. Click on the instance ID. I'll say connect. And because our IP address is already set up, you can start to SSH into the machine if you want to. But I'm going to use Session Manager because it's quite handy. So what I'll do here is I'll say connect. And now in the browser, I get access to the SSH basic equivalent. And you can see here, I can just go ls or cd, go back a drive. See, I'm inside the EC2, right? I need to set a password so we can do remote desktop. So I'm going to paste this sudo password Ubuntu. Now I'll give a new password. And then okay, password's updated successfully. I'm just going to close that. And now you got to reboot the instance. I do find sometimes connecting it after you reboot doesn't always work. So I'm just going to play safe, and I'm going to stop it and then restart it. So just do a clean stop and start. You can try reboot if you want to do it a bit quicker, but you might find the next step doesn't always connect properly. Just about restarting all the services. So I'll wait for this to stop and then I'll start it again. It will take just a few minutes, and I'll connect back when it's all done. All right, so my machine restarted. It did take a little bit of time. Like I said, I chose to do a full start or stop and start. If you want to, you can do a quick reboot to see if it does connect. I just had issues sometimes, so I showed you the way that I know it does work. Okay, so now the machine's running. Now I want to connect. So what I have to do is I just go to look for DCV, so Amazon DCV, just search it in Google and you click download DCV. And what we want is the client, right? So I need to connect to it. I'm on Mac, so I'll hit download and it'll download the DMG file. If you're on Windows, you can download the Windows file. I've already got it installed, so I'll just bring it up over here. So DCV viewer. Here it is. And now you just take your public IP address. Just make sure in your security group you still have your IP address set. In fact, I'll show you where it is. So here's my security group. I'll click that and say edit inbound. And you'll see SSH is the same public IP address as my machine. And DCV works on port 8443 on TCP. And then this is just to connect to itself for all the ingress, right? So let's just go back to the EC2 and I'll show you how to do this. Instance, okay, this is our machine. Open up first I'm going to copy the public IP address, DCV, click paste. Okay, so let's click connect and you should see this, right? If you do get an error saying, you know, the pipe is not connected or things like that, you might just have to wait a few minutes longer because DCV sometimes does need a little bit of time to restart. And what you can do is, if you wanted to, if you go back into Session Manager over here, and it needs to say connected, you know, everything's running, I'll say connect. You can run this command just to see the status of DCV. So I'll just wait for it. So you run sudo systemctl status DCV server, and you should be able to see it. If you see that, then DCV is running. It just takes a little bit of time. So we'll go here, trust and connect. Now it's our username, so Ubuntu, and our password. Logging in. I'll maximize this. So then you have a full desktop, right? So again, Ubuntu. And then our password. And then connect. Just push enter. There you go. Here we go, full Ubuntu workstation, right? Let's say next over here, skip that, next, finish. And I'll go over here. So you can see all the apps are there. Open terminal over here. Let's maximize this a little bit. And let's type in -smi to show you. So there's Nvidia drivers. All right, I hope that helped. Just keep in mind that if your public IP changes, you just need to set the IP address in your security group. And I'll make another video, which you should see over here when I finish it, on how to enable the web browser remote desktoping tool, which is kind of fun. Thanks for watching. Bye.